Hey, you guys, just wanted to let you know we have an amazing show called The Game Changer Show each and every single Wednesday at 6 p.m. GMT, where we interview entrepreneurs, athletes alike. It gives people an opportunity to listen to people's story, how they've kind of really turned their business around. It's fun, it's thought-provoking, it's an opportunity to ask questions, and it's interactive. So if you want to come and hang out with some cool people, 6 p.m. Please go to youtube.com/sleeve/Adam Strong. Subscribe and click on the bell, and we'll see you there on Wednesday at 6 p.m. GMT. Cheers. Take care.
This is the Game Changers Experience. Deep dive conversations with leading business disruptors, Olympic athletes, celebrities, entrepreneurs, and influencers from around the world. This show will teach you insights about the winning principles in mindset, productivity, marketing, branding, entrepreneurship, business strategy, and more. Hosted by Productivity Authority, business strategist, former elite athlete, author, and public speaker, Adam Strong.
Hey, Mehdi. Happy Wednesday.
Thank you, man. Happy Wednesday back.
So listen, great to be on today's session with you and stuff, but just for the purpose of people listening, just give us a little bit of an overview about your business and why we're doing a session today.
Essentially, our business is a smartwear company from Norway. It's called Votwear. And we are focusing on the training apparel that enhances human physiology. So smart clothing, but directly related to human physiology. And believe it or not, we cross paths in Clubhouse, amazing app, amazing people in an amazing room that you were the moderator. So that was pretty cool.
Appreciate it.
And and we really, I think it was a question I asked where it was like, how do we sell the color red to someone who doesn't know who has never seen red or who has never heard of red, right? And the feedback was amazing. And you were like, we got to get on this call. We got to get a session. And I loved it. And I'd like to hear more, essentially.
Cool, man. Love it. Very good. At the end of today's call, what specifically would you like to go away with? What specific tools or advice or information would you like to get out of today's session?
Honestly, the key thing with any innovative company is finding the right people. Mm-hmm. The right people literally unlock the doors, no matter what it is. We have seen in history experts like even Bill Gates, an expert in computing, said that you would never need more than, 10 kilobytes? And he was dead wrong. People are using terabytes today. So you really need to find the right people, the right mindsets when you have something new. Even if they're experts in the field, it doesn't make them the right people. So I guess that's what I would love from this session, a path to the right mindsets, the right people.
Path to the right people. Cool. All right, cool. All right. So what I was going to say to you, actually, my first question, because I've written down a few questions that I want to ask you. The first question I want to ask you is, in terms of the consumer's minds or potential customers that come across the word Votwear, Votwear, what did they think of that? Because for me, from someone that is quite new to, I love the concept, by the way, of smartwear. And that really is very, kind of what I call in trend. But tell me more about how did the whole kind of name thing come about? Because I'd love to know more about that.
So Votwear is actually, the reason why we settled on the name itself is our first product is a vascular occlusion training wear, right?
Yep.
So that is why our first product, because essentially what it does is it reduces the amount of metabolic waste leaving a working muscle, which manipulates the muscle and the body into thinking you're working harder, so you grow quicker. Mm-hmm. So we had to give the company name kind of like an homage to the first product, because officially the VOT stands for Vanguard of All Things. So Vanguard of All Things is and will be the mother company. And this is the wear section. This is the wear line, because we're going to have Vanguard of All Things Tech, Vanguard of All Things Wear. So Votwear, Vot Tech, etc. But it was also an homage to the first product being a vascular occlusion training wear. So that's how we landed the name.
And who came up with the concept? I'd love to know, what was the research based upon it? How did you come up with the aha moment? Shit, we need to create this amazing smart wear product. Where did you see the opportunity from your perspective?
So one thing I noticed was, because I had a background in sports. I did professional athletics with the Norwegian national team, 60 meter, 100 meter, 200 meter. I have played semi-pro American football, but in Europe. And I even competed in Greco-Roman wrestling and MMA.
Wow.
But this was before and during medical school. And one thing I noticed was in medical school, because of the history of my sports background, I had come across something called KATSU. And KATSU is essentially a $1,000 machine that does exactly what our product does, exactly the same thing. It increases the pressure, or there's a localized pressure on your legs or your arms that, again, keeps out the metabolic waste from leaving the muscle during working out, and thus increases the growth. But this machine costs so much, and you can't run with it. You can't fight with it. You can't play basketball with it, right? It's a machine. It's like a blood pressure cuff machine. And I have also seen some mobile versions of the machine, but they themselves are very clunky and clumsy and expensive. Not only that, but there's a huge knowledge barrier. People do not know how to use these things. So essentially, I was sitting there thinking, how can a student afford this without putting not only myself and my health in jeopardy by not knowing how to do it, by doing it too tight, by doing it too loose, maybe the wrong position. So I literally went on Google and searched BFR, so blood flow restriction wear, because I did not even think that it wasn't made. It didn't even cross my head it wasn't made. I was literally searching for it to buy. And then no search, nothing was found.
Interesting.
So I was like, wait a minute, this isn't made? So I started going deeper and searching, and I literally couldn't find the product. So because I couldn't wait for it, we were like, all right, I guess we have to make it. And then the idea of smart clothing wear came to life, because once you're in the waters, you become like a channel for inspiration. So this is not only going to be our first and only line of smart clothing. We already have 2 parallel lines that also have their own superpower, you could say, also have their own, function that we will release later on.
Very cool. Very good. And okay, that's interesting. Very good. So for you, from your perspective, you want to be able to get more in terms of like partnerships perspective, right? You want to be able to leverage partnerships, leverage the brand, create brand ambassadors, whatever it might be, correct?
Exactly. Smart partners is everything, We had our first investor actually come in, and this was where we realized that, money in itself doesn't mean anything. It's the networks that come with the money.
Correct.
And this was exactly what made us go, okay, we need the right people in this. This is not, we're not selling shoes. We're not selling a product that has been around. We're literally the world's first and the world's leading, because if you actually search this now, you'll see 4 or 5 other companies that are copying. But we are the leading in both terms of sales, design, expertise, and area of clientele.
Tell me about your clientele more. Who do you think?
So our clients, sorry, go for it.
No, I was just going to say, who specifically would it be? Who would give it great benefits to, and who would it really appeal to?
Honestly, this is why it's difficult, because it's almost like asking, who's the clientele for water or fire. It's everyone. And I know it sounds strange, but essentially anyone who wants to get in better health or better shape becomes a clientele. I'll give you an example. Let's pick the oldest demographic.
Sure.
The oldest demographic, because of age, they lose muscle mass. Because of age, you have arthritis, or you have weak and sore joints. You might have certain pain, so you cannot lift heavy. And this is exactly where our product comes in, where you can actually get a workout in with light weights, but still get benefit of a heavyweight workout due to the accumulation of this metabolic waste that the product does. And then if you go to the exact polar opposite clientele, which is, let's say, a linebacker in the NFL, he benefits from it too, because what he's going to do when he wears it is, let's say he wears it in practice under his pads, he's going to push his body into such a state of heightened lactic acid accumulation that the day he plays a full game without the shirt, he will not even feel the lactic acid. Like his threshold will be so much higher because the body's used to training in an acidic environment. So it's almost all over the spectrum. It just depends on how we hit the market.
Absolutely. So I've been writing a list, and for me, when you've got something which is quite unique in what you do, it's okay to have what I call multi-facet avatars. So there might be a specific type of avatar that you think, you know what, this would really, really benefit this person, such as an Olympic athlete or a sports celebrity, or someone that is training on a regular basis for either competition, or even if it's just to kind of generally stay fit and healthy or whatever it is. But then you've got what I call the multi-facet avatars. You've mentioned someone who is, over the age of 60, where their muscle hypertrophy is essentially breaking down because of age. And then you've got the polar opposite to that, which is essentially the 30 to 40-year-old gym goers, or gym bunnies, as I like to call them, and who have got a little bit of extra disposable income, but they obviously care about their shape, their image. It might appeal to women, for example, after pregnancy and so forth. So it's okay to have multi-facet avatars. One of the things that I think would be really interesting here is to actually say, for example, you identified 3 main avatars specifically for your clientele, right? And you've probably got maybe 3 or that you're already thinking in your head right now. What I would do in your case, now, now the obvious choice is, what if we start with, say, Olympic athletes or sports teams? Now, those are kind of ones that, I'm an ex-athlete myself, same as you. One of the things that I would do is, in order to get partnership agreements in place, is number one is you've got to make sure that, I think you said that is it intellectual property patent? Have you got it patented yet?
So as we said, we have what they call a design patent. So no one can ever make something that looks like that, but you can't patent this intellectually due to the fact that it is and has been around since 1970, which is, I believe, a really good thing.
No, but there are probably certain features or there's certain, for example, the name of the brand, that is intellectual property in its own right.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Of course. And that is obviously ours and we own it, obviously.
Yeah. 100%. So I would look at protecting the IP first of all. And happy to connect with one of our clients that's helped me in protecting my IP. So happy to make a connection there if you want to. But in terms of sports athletes and Olympic athletes, one of the things in terms of partnerships, rather than now the end goal obviously is to get some exposure. The end goal is to leverage their personal brand or their, I suppose their influence or whatever it might be, in order to either give them some direct benefit, of course. So the first question you have to ask yourself was, okay, where are these Olympic athletes hanging out? Well, during the pandemic or whatever it is, they're probably not doing so much training right now. So that probably means that they're going to be on social media. So, are they going to be on a Clubhouse, for example? Are they hanging out on LinkedIn? Are they hanging out on Facebook? So my suspicions are going to be that they're probably going to be hanging around on Instagram, and they're going to be probably doing some snap sessions and featuring some of the training sessions that they're currently doing. And so probably going to be Instagram to communicate to their tribe, or Twitter. So Twitter, I definitely would look at Twitter as well. Start putting into Twitter and into Instagram certain hashtags of keywords that you think that they're going to use. So if you're going after, as an example, athletics, then some of the keyword might be athletics, for example. It might be, if you're going after I don't know, say a basketball player just could be using basketball or whatever it might be, or NBA. So really start to think of the ideal partner who would be great for you. And if it is a long distance runner, then great. Then you've become a little bit more niched in terms of who you think it will be great for. I think someone like a triathlete would be good, or a run. So someone in the track and field realm would be great, a great starting block for you. So thinking of sports that would create huge amounts of waste product, such as cycling. Look at some of the sporting events that are coming up right now. So we've got this year, we've got Tokyo, we've got next year, maybe Commonwealth Games potentially. You've also got indoor and outdoor Grand Prix as well as that. And then what I would do is I would do some research into trying to find out who is going to be on those Grand Prix, who's going to be featured in those events, and start following them on Instagram, start following them on social media, right? Make a few comments, make a few shares, make a few likes, try to get a picture about what's important to them, what are their values, and what makes them tick, right? So, and then once you, over a period of time, over a sort of a 6 to 8 week period of time, once they see that you've engaged with their posts, okay, and that you're having a conversation, and that it's not completely a stranger. Now, what you've got to take into consideration is that they're getting daily people messaging them with the same opportunity. Okay,
right.
Bear that in mind. So
exactly.
So the other thing you got to think to yourself is, well, how am I going to stand out from the crowd? That's the big multi-million-dollar question. And so if you do it the way I've said to do it, which is essentially, build up a relationship, find out what's important to them, find out if it is the gold medal at Tokyo that's super important to them, and help them and say, listen, I've got a product right now which is going to help reduce your lactic acid. It's going to increase your vasodilation. It's going to increase capillary networks, whatever it is that you tell them about the benefits. I'd love to get your opinion about it and offer you a trial, offer you a sponsorship, whatever it is that you want to offer them. Think about what exactly you want to offer them. Because if you're clear and concise about what you can offer them based on the benefit, okay, then they're going to respond in due kind. They're probably going to turn around and say, sounds fantastic, speak to my PR agent, or that sounds fantastic, speak to my sponsor. And then that means You've then got to make sure that you've got your pitch down to a T. So your pitch is going to be super important. Now, with regards to your pitch, and this is so important in making sure that you're communicating your true value, I teach my clients a 7-step methodology. I think it's 8 actually. So the first one is, did you know? So the did you know would be something like, for example, do you know what it feels like have you ever spoken to an athlete that won the silver medal over someone that won the gold medal? Right? And they're like, oh no, let's not even go there, right? That is completely, let's not even go there, right? But that's a really good, opening line, right? Just something like that. Have you ever spoken to someone that's won the silver medal over the gold medal? Yeah. How did they feel? Have you ever thought about that? Okay, my name is, and then you go into who your name is and what your company is and what do you specialize in? 1 paragraph, bang, right? So did you know your name? What do you specialize in? 3 points. And then the 4th point is, what is the problem? What are the big problems for most athletes? And they're already going to know this. The big problem for high intensity training when you're training for the athletics is that, you're going to have longer recovery periods. You're going to be more open to injuries. You're going to have, you're going to have less energy, all of those kinds of things. So it doesn't have to be super complicated from a physiological perspective. Okay. Try to take the jargon out of it and any technological terms out of the terminology. Just keep it short, simple, and sweet. And then tell them about what exactly you have to offer. Hi, we have 2 varieties of different training, 2 different types of training, fashion, bottoms, leggings, whatever you want to call it, right? Apparel,
right?
Okay, which helps reduce this, and this. So tell them about the benefits again, okay? It is the only smartwear of its kind in the world that helps reduce this, okay? And then you say, as you're coming towards the end, which is on point 7. Okay, your point 7 is, what is your vision? Our vision is to X, all right, and make it sure that is so they get excited about it. You've got to create a vision that they're excited about. So is it the fact that you want to have, I don't know, 1,000 athletes from around the world to be wearing vote wear to help them to win gold medals, right? Or something like that. What is the vision behind that? Have it powerful, it's punchy, it's straight to the point, and they're like, oh my God, I'm so looking forward to this. And then the last thing is a call to action. What do you want the person to do? Okay, it's really important. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to pick up the phone? Do you want them to email you? Do you want to send a product to them so that you can get their opinion and a review or a testimonial? Do you want them to become a sponsor? I'd love to schedule a call to see how I can help you win a gold medal at the Tokyo Olympics in 22. How does that sound to you? Right. And when people say that to me, I'm like, okay, now you've got my eye. Now you've caught I'm intrigued. And the whole point of a pitch, and it's really important, is that you create curiosity. Super important.
Exactly. I like that.
Curiosity is the killer, because the thing is that you've got to understand these people are busy. They're training it 8-10 hours a day, right? They've got a team of people that are trying to look after them, trying to maximize their performance. They want to be the best in the world, right? I've been there, done that, and got the t-shirt because I worked with Olympians, and I've been one of them. I've been there. And so I know how important it is to them. It's in their blood. It's in their DNA that they have this. If they can get the extra, what I call marginal gain over their competitors, right, in order to be the best athlete that they can be, then guess what? Bam.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I love it. I love it. And I agree. I absolutely agree with this method.
So if you use that methodology in that particular order, I can guarantee you that, out of every 10 people that you contact, you're probably going to get at least 3 or 4 takers off the back of that.
It's absolutely a tough market. One needs every edge one can get. Every approach needs to be calculated and really, vetted and planned out. It can't leave certain things to chance, honestly.
No, I agree. It's just a matter of making sure that you do your due diligence. You want to make sure that the athlete or the sports celebrity or sports team is affiliated, or it aligns to your values, because that's important, right? And if you're going to be working with them on a long-term basis or a long-term relationship, then essentially at the end of the day, you want to make sure that there is congruency with your brand. So I call it brand. Brand congruency is extremely important, because otherwise, if you're inconsistent and you're affiliated with people like, I don't know, what's his face, Armstrong, who ended up being a cheater, and then it's going to damage the brand. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you got to be really selective.
No, you're absolutely right.
So what I would do is I would put together a list of at least 50 athletes, 50 to 100 athletes, okay, and they don't have to be Norwegian. They could be American. They could be British. It doesn't matter. Stick to a certain discipline, okay? So it might be, in fact, pick 2 disciplines. I would go track and field 1 as the first one.
We actually picked CrossFitters and bodybuilders.
Yeah, but it's no
because
good.
No, but the CrossFitter community is the most concentrated community in terms of knowledge within occlusion training. No other community knows occlusion training and uses it as much as they, due to the high amount of intensity training and lactic acid requirement. Who else is doing reps upon reps upon reps with that much weight?
True.
CrossFitters.
Well, what I would do is I would find out who are the top 50 influencers in the CrossFit space, and there's a lot.
Exactly.
I can tell you
there's a lot.
Ex-athletes that have turned to CrossFit as well. In America, they have Reebok that basically is affiliated with CrossFit. Well, I don't know if they do now, because I know that the founder of CrossFit, I think he said something too much, and they basically cut their strings with him. But cut long story short, there's a lot of influences in the CrossFit space. Personally, CrossFit is one area But the other area is I would look at track and field. I would look at both areas.
Oh, absolutely.
So I would draw up 50 athletes track and field, 50 athletes for CrossFit, start engaging with their posts, start building up a relationship, following them, find out what's important to them, find out what they're doing, what their vision is, how can you help them. Once you start to engage with them, when you start building a relationship with them, when you start to, and it's important, really important that you're consistent with engagement, really important. Some might be on Instagram, some might be on LinkedIn, some might be on Twitter. Take a look to see what they're doing and where they're hanging out. But I'm more suspected it's going to be Twitter and Instagram. Those are the two platforms that I think that they're going to be hanging out more. So definitely, then again, once you've done that, hit them with a pitch, think about what the call to action is going to be. And then the next step is then getting them in for a meeting, all right, or a call or a consultation.
Yeah.
That's the end goal. Once you've got them on the phone, then you can tell them about the concept of your product or whatever it might be. And they're more than likely, they'll probably be interested. What you don't want to do is give away equity right at the beginning. You don't want to give away shares either, Woods, because they have to prove that, number one, they're going to promise what they promised. And see, here, one of the things that I advise a lot of people like yourself is that you get so excited about the opportunities that you give away equity or shares in your company before they've even proved that they're actually going to say what they say.
Exactly. I absolutely agree.
So refrain from doing that right at the beginning. And I wouldn't do anything like that until at least 12 months after relationship has gone into fruition.
Nice. Yeah, because one has to have a certain guarantee, we see this a lot with any third-party partnership. You see it a lot where everyone obviously sells themselves, but it's one thing to promise, it's another to do. No, I like that. It definitely has to be a certain trial period.
Absolutely. So you have to have a trial period. And the other one is to have an NDA. Make sure you have an NDA signed up. It's really important to have an NDA before any conversations, because if you have an NDA sorted, then at least you're protected as a business as well, because otherwise, people just talk, right? Just
exactly.
Talk, whether it be good or bad, it's good to have good to have that in board. So that is what I would do for you that's what my recommendation is from the initially. And then let me know how you get on and after that. And then, we can see what we're doing after that. And, you can tell me how you're getting on.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Does that sound good?
Awesome. Sounds like a plan.
Good stuff.
Sounds like a solid plan, man.
All right, man. Well, listen, I hope you've enjoyed today. Let me know how you get on. Keep me in the loop. And, if there's any other ways in which I can add a bit of value or whatever it might be, just feel to reach out and I'll see what I can do.
Dude, your time has been amazing and grateful for it. Grateful for everything. And you really dissected a lot of the steps needed for a lot of people that really, do not know what they're doing or think they're doing the right thing. So I really appreciate that. Really
You're very welcome. Well, hopefully we'll see you back on Clubhouse again with some of our listeners that are listening to this recording. We're on Clubhouse at 7 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it's called No BS or Ego, just authentic and genuine business advice. And this guy, well, he's been in there. He knows all about it. What do you think?
Dude. Yeah, get into it. There are a lot of crap groups on Clubhouse, but get into this one.
And by the way, guys, if you're on Android, you're going to have to wait for the update. So I'm sorry about that, but this is just for Apple users. Otherwise, listen, hope you've enjoyed today's podcast and we'll see you soon. Take care. Thanks, Mehdi.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Hey, you guys, I just want to say thank you so much for listening in to this episode of the Game Changers Experience. I hope that you got some amazing value, some great insights, and golden nuggets that you can implement into your business straight away. I would really, really appreciate it if you could leave a 5-star review on the button below. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.